Let's talk to Harold the H. He's going to tell us about Ipswich has this passion of a love affair with eggs. How are you there, Harold?
Yeah, I'm very well, Danny. And your Easter eggs, it's the talk of the town now, and the hot cross buns later on, but eggs. Ipswich has always loved eggs.
Easter eggs or eggs?
Well, let me get to that. I'll start with Australia's most famous egg, and it wasn't far from here.
Right.
It was back in 1917 during campaigning for the second referendum, the introduction of conscription during the First World War. The Australian Prime Minister, Billy Hughes, stepped onto the platform at the Warwick railway station and into the middle of a howling mob.
Yeah, I won't say, but this is very interesting.
Yeah, an egg was thrown at the Prime Minister, which knocked his hat off.
That's
and
right.
Pandemonium broke out.
Yeah.
It was rumoured that a Queensland policeman refused to arrest the perpetrator.
Yep.
And so it's that egg that was responsible for the landing of the federal police.
Correct.
But the truth is that Patrick Brosnan was indeed arrested for throwing the egg. He was later convicted for creating a disturbance and fined 10 shillings. And Brosnan was also later convicted of stealing jewels from a jewellery store in Brisbane and sentenced to 3 years hard labour. And incidentally, the store was owned by Samuel Shepherd, whose son later got divorced after his wife had an affair with her own cousin. But anyway...
What? Really?
That's the story of Australia's most famous egg. But egg throwing actually started a year earlier, and it was right here in Ipswich.
Wow.
It was in 1916, during the campaign for the first referendum for conscription, when one of the largest meetings ever held in Ipswich took place on Nicholas Street. The Senator Matthew Reid and former Queensland Premier Robert Philp addressed the crowd. They were met with a fierce barrage of eggs, and they were mostly at a foul stage of decay. And Ipswich's fascination with egg throwing continued after the war as well. In 1913, while the future Premier William Forgan Smith was holding an open-air meeting on the corner of Brisbane and Nicholas Streets, a rotten egg was thrown at where he was standing, and the contents splashed over a heap of the listeners in the crowd. In 1931, General Sir William Glasgow and Josiah Francis addressed a meeting from the back of a lorry in Bell Street. General Glasgow was a veteran, he was a veteran of both the Boer and First World Wars and a Queensland senator, while Francis was a member of federal parliament and whose grandfather had twice been mayor of Ipswich. Now, the meeting was one of the rowdiest ever held in Ipswich. The speakers delivered their addresses amid unceasing flow of interjections, and an egg was hurled through the air, but it smashed against a shop window.
Wow.
In 1950, there's more eggs. See, there was uproar at a public meeting in Rosewood. It was over the rising price of eggs, which at the time were 3 shillings and 3pence a dozen.
Wow.
When the state government minister Bill Moore was asked what the government was going to do about it, 6 fresh eggs were thrown at him. They all missed. But Mr. Moore responded by saying, there doesn't seem to be any worry about the price of eggs here. But back in Ipswich, Ipswich's love affair with eggs also included the size of them, because with eggs, Danny, size does matter. In 1921, Mr. Michael Alexandrovich Sverdlov. Now, he was an immigrant from Siberia, and he was living in Ipswich. And, incidentally, his son Boris later got a job of running over an old age pensioner outside the Criven Foot Garage. But the father, Mick Sverdlov, is notable for his Australorp hen that laid eggs as big as 4 3/4 ounces, which was quite possibly the Australian record.
The bum nut that really
Now, imagine
hurts.
that, Danny. Yeah, these are eggs 3 times bigger than the ones that we get in the shops today. And they're way bigger than even your fist.
Wow, that is a big egg, and I'm hurting now.
Yeah, well, Mick Chook would have, and may have held the record for some time, because its eggs weighed, in modern terms, 135 grams each. But in 2015, a whopping 207-gram egg was laid over near Jimboomba. And even that was beaten in 2020 by an egg weighing 209 grams from just outside of Canberra. And Danny, with eggs that big, if Billy Hughes was around today, he'd be a very nervous man indeed.
But isn't that amazing?
Anyway, that's the history of eggs in Ipswich. It's been the centre of that egg throwing habit, it seems, for over a century.
But how'd you be? The eggs in Queensland started the federal police.
That's right. Yeah. And what's more than that, before that, Ipswich started the eggs.
With the egg throwing
so we can
the year
federal
before.
Police and the eggs. Thank Ipswich for it all.
It's absolutely egg-tastic. Now, how can we find this story, see this story?
Yes, get excited and go to historyouthere.com. I'll be uploading this excellent story first thing Easter Sunday morning.
That's clucky.
Historyouthere.com.
Historyouthere.com. Don't forget, get on and give us one of your arks. We want as many arks as we can. Go to historyouthere.com. Really appreciate your time.